Today we will review 6th grade math lesson 14.1. This lesson will cover how to explore statistical data collection. Here's your I can statement. I can identify statistical questions, describe the nature of attributes under investigation, and report the number of observations and explain my methods to others. Let's review some vocabulary for today. Please make sure you're writing this in a math spiral notebook. It will really help you in grasping the concepts and understanding them at a deeper level. So we have statistical question, and we have data, we have attribute, and we have observation. Okay, so we have 4 of them today to review. So we have statistical question, we have data, we have attribute, and we have observations. Okay, so your statistical question is a question with many different answers. A statistical question, it also can be answered by looking at the data. But the main thing we need to know is there's different answers involved. Data is a set of information collected about people and things to draw conclusions. An attribute it's a variable or characteristic that were measured like size or color or height, for example. Observation is an example of the data values being collected. These will make sense as we go along with these examples a little bit more as we follow along. If you want to look at more examples like this, please look at your homework on page 443 in your student workbook. I encourage you to pause this video at any time, complete these problems on your own first, and then go back and watch the video. So a statistical question, like I said, is a question that has many different or variable answers. For example, a yes or a no question is not a statistical question. But a question asking how tall are you is because it has many different answers. Data is a set of information collected by asking statistical questions, often to draw conclusions. One way to describe data is by stating the number of observations or measurements that were made. Another method of describing data is to list the attributes or characteristics that were measured, such as size or color. So let's look at this table in the example. Here we're saying these are our 2 attributes for this example. So it shows information, this table, about the tallest buildings in the world. Complete each statement about the data. So here's my 2 attributes. I know in this example, I have the attribute of height and the attribute of year built. Those are my attributes. And we can describe data by listing attributes. So we're listing attributes of certain buildings by looking at their height. So these are all names of buildings here. And the two attributes we're collecting data on is the height and the year they were built. So as mathematicians, we're looking at that. Now, the other thing we need to understand is how many observations are there. How many observations are there? That's again one of your vocabulary words, is we have observations here. There are 10 data values listed, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are 10 data values listed, so there are 10 observations. Then it's asking how many attributes were measured. Again, we look over here in the table, and the two attributes were measured is height and year built. And now it says, how were they measured? So in this example, when they're asking how were they measured, what they're really asking you is, what is the unit of measure of each attribute? So if we're looking for unit of measure here, we're noticing that the height was measured in meters and the year was measured in years, the year built. So those two attributes were measured. What was the unit of measure? All right, let's look at the example below. Which of the following questions is not a statistical question? So we first have to understand what is a statistical question. Remember, a statistical question has a variety of answers. Okay, so let's go ahead and read these. How long did you ride the bus to school? Well, that would have a variety of answers, because if you'd rode the bus on Monday, it might take you 20 minutes. If you ride the bus on Tuesday, it might take you 18 minutes. So that has a variety of answers. What did you have for lunch? Well, on Monday I had ramen noodles for lunch, and on Tuesday I had leftover pizza for lunch. So again, it has a variety of answers. Then look at question C. How many seconds are in an hour? That one does not have a variety of answer, because we always know that only has one answer. It's fixed, meaning we know exactly there are 60 seconds in a minute, and there are 60 minutes in an hour. So we know that there's a specific answer for how many seconds there are in an hour, so that is not a statistical question. And again, D, how many pets do you have? You could have a different amount of pets in your lifetime, so that is a variety of answers. Let's look at question 2. Sonia collected the data shown in the table for an intramural volleyball league. Complete each statement about the data. So remember, when we're looking at our table, we notice that we have two attributes that are listed here, which is win and losses. And then we know about observations, meaning in the table that we have 5 teams that we're looking at, different volleyball teams, but we're looking at wins and losses for each of them. So we know there are going to be 2 attributes, which is wins and losses. And Sonia recorded how many observations? Now we need to count the data. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 observations. So that is our lesson for Module 14, Lesson 1, Grade 6.